Hi.
He's impatient.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at noon.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. We are tracking Tropical Storm Melissa right now. Still a tropical storm, but expect to become a major hurricane very soon. We'll have a full breakdown coming up in just minutes.
Plus, the scary story of a man accused of using AirPods to stalk and track a woman's location. But first, a Miami Heat player arrested in Orlando over illegal gambling accusations. Just days into the NBA season, a major scandal has rocked the league. Miami Heat player Terry Rozier is one of more than 30 people charged in connection with 2 federal investigations, one involving illegal gambling backed by the mafia. Rozier is charged in the second one involving illegal sports betting. News 6's Mike Valenti is live in the newsroom to break down all of this. And Mike, Rozier was arrested right here in Orlando.
Yeah, Julie, that's right. And we'll be talking about this one for quite a while. The feds revealing information about 2 sprawling investigations into illegal sports betting and a rigged poker game, the latter involving an NBA head coach. Now, Miami Heat player Terry Rozier is implicated in the former case. He was in Orlando because the Magic hosted the Heat last night. He did not play during the season opener, and it's unclear if he'll ever play a game again. He's one of 6 defendants charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Authorities say that from 2022 to 2024, Rozier and his co-defendants were placing bets on unders, which means they were banking on players to rack up fewer points, rebounds, and assists. Authorities say this is the same case that entangled former NBA player Jontay Porter just last year. He was banned from the NBA for life, and he ended up pleading guilty on a wire fraud charge. Here's more from New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who offered more details about the allegations against Rozier.
One example occurred on March 23rd, 2023 in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash.
So I mentioned a second case here. That's the illegal poker game, which has enveloped Hall of Famer and current Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, and allegedly involved La Cosa Nostra, which is Italian crime families. Authorities say the 2 cases are separate but related in that they have 3 overlapping defendants, including a former NBA player. Rozier is not charged in the illicit poker game. Rozier is expected in federal court today at 2:30. We will, of course, be there for that appearance. Julie?
Mike Valenti reporting live. Thank you. And if you or someone you know is dealing with a gambling problem, you can get confidential help 24/7 by calling or texting the Problem Gambling Helpline at 888-ADMIT-IT. New at noon, a mom of a Brevard County high school student is facing charges for threatening to burn down Rockledge High School. 40-year-old Brandy Covington is charged with threatening to discharge a destructive device. Police say Covington called a cafeteria employee saying that her daughter's boyfriend had his lunch taken away from him. Police said that employee said the student didn't have money in their account and was explaining how the school handles situations like that. Officers say that's when Covington told the employee she would burn the school down. Covington is being held without bond. A potential big development in the case of missing Orlando woman Jennifer Kesse. Her parents now say they've been told the case is no longer cold. It has now been nearly 20 years since the then 24-year-old disappeared after leaving her condo near the mall at Millennia in January of 2006. The only major clue in the case has been grainy surveillance video showing a man walking where her car was found. According to a social media post, Drew and Joyce Kesse said they were told by the FDLE there have been new developments in the investigation. That includes DNA found within the evidence that has never been tested. Turning our attention now to the tropics and Tropical Storm Melissa. You can see the satellite imagery there as it continues to churn in the Caribbean. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is here. And Candace, Melissa could become a powerful hurricane.
Yeah, we're talking possibly up to about a Category 4 storm by the beginning of the week. And this system is crawling, basically drifting at this point towards the north-northwest at about 2 miles per hour. Sustained winds have gone down from 50 down to 45. And that's primarily because while we're still seeing those explosive thunderstorms, a lot of it's still being sheared from some strong wind shear. You can kind of see some of those cloud tops being sheared off over Cuba, but that is continuing to keep the system a little bit lopsided, which is why it hasn't strengthened yet. Now that wind shear is going to back off considerably by this weekend, and we have extremely warm waters underneath Melissa, and the combination of that will give plenty of opportunity for the system to rapidly intensify. We're talking Category 1 storm as early as about Sunday, and then within the next 48 hours after that could rapidly intensify to a Category 4 storm as it hovers again just south of Jamaica at that point. But I do want to show you that we also have to keep our eyes on the overall forecast cone, as uncertainty where that center continues to ride is still a bit uncertain. You can see the tropical models, all of them do agree it will drift for a couple days in the central Caribbean and eventually making that turn across and over some of the Caribbean islands out into the Atlantic by the end of next week. But the big question is, at what point is it going to crisscross and make landfall? Will it be over Jamaica, eastern Cuba, or even over Hispaniola by early next week? That is something we'll be watching very closely. In the meantime, though, locally, we have a big-time cold front that will be coming through next week by about Wednesday, and that's really going to be the culprit for picking up Melissa and moving it into the Atlantic. In the meantime, though, Central Florida will be feeling very much like fall. Taking a live look outside, you can see how rough the high tide is already at this time. We're going to continue to clock even stronger winds. Right now, they're at 22. We'll have more on your winds, your temperatures, and a look at that Halloween forecast coming up in minutes.
Candace, thank you. New at noon, a scary situation in Winter Springs. Police say a man used AirPods to track and stalk a woman. Our Seminole County community correspondent Mark Lehman explains how it all played out.
The suspect in this case has been here at the Seminole County Jail since Tuesday, and police say he actually admitted to the accusations against him. One of the most concerning was the discovery of a pair of traceable earbuds tucked underneath the victim's car. 28-year-old Luis Rendon is facing aggravated stalking charges after Winter Springs police say a woman came forward saying she was in fear for her life because of his behavior. The victim telling police Rendon was harassing her for some time. According to the arrest report, it began with dozens of texts and calls, but things escalated when the victim said he showed up to her apartment, and on the same night, the fire alarm was pulled in her building. The concern grew to another level when the victim says Rendon started sending her messages from an unknown number claiming to know her whereabouts. Feeling as though she was being followed, she had a friend check all around and even underneath her car. And that's when a plastic bag was found in the undercarriage with an Apple AirPod case tucked inside. That device has a feature that tracks back to the owner's phone. Rendon was arrested on Tuesday. Today, we stopped by the home where he was taken into custody.
Does Luis Rendon live here? Luis Rendon? No?
But the women there claim to have no knowledge of Rendon's alleged actions. All of this comes a week after police in Hillsborough County say two men used an AirTag taped under a bumper to pull off a planned burglary. Among the charges were illegal installation of a tracking device, which is a count similar to what Rendon is facing. He was booked on $7,500 bond. And while bond has been set for Rendon, we're learning he will remain in jail at this point. Booking records show he's facing an immigration hold. An arraignment for his case has been set for late November. In Seminole County, I'm your community correspondent, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Israel today as the Trump administration tries to ensure the U.S. brokered peace deal between Israel and Hamas stays on track. CBS's Natalie Brandt has details from the White House.
Vice President J.D. Vance left Israel today saying he feels optimistic about the ceasefire holding.
I think that we're on a very good pathway. It's very early, but it's a good start.
But he also criticized a symbolic vote by hardliners in the Israeli parliament to annex the West Bank, land Palestinians want for a future state.
If it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel.
Hours after Vance's departure, Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived as the Trump administration works with allies on its peace plan, including the challenge of disarming Hamas and rebuilding Gaza.
With momentum in the Middle East, the administration was hoping for progress with Russia and Ukraine, but President Trump is no longer planning a second in-person meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get, so I canceled it.
Russian strikes this week targeted civilian sites, including a kindergarten in Ukraine's second largest city. The administration has now imposed new sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies, saying it's the result of Russia's lack of a serious commitment to a peace process.
I think that they'll certainly have an impact. They're massive sanctions.
A Russian spokeswoman called the new sanctions counterproductive. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
If you use the Lynx bus, soon you may be able to track your commute right from your phone, but it comes with a hefty price tag for Lynx. Coming up, we hear from riders on what they think about some changes to the service.
Introducing the new $25 million Gold Rush Multiplier Scratch-Off from the Florida Lottery.
Lynx used to have an app for riders to track their route. Nearly 2 years ago, it was discontinued. Now riders have to find other ways to see what their commute will look like, but that could be changing. However, it won't be cheap. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is at the downtown Orlando Lynx bus station asking riders what they think about the upgrade.
I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting from the Lynx bus station in downtown Orlando. Now, it's been a couple of years since Lynx had an app that people could use to track the bus schedules. They do have one that you can use to pay for fares, but again, it doesn't track the buses, which is one people tell me they used daily for their morning and afternoon commutes. And Lynx says people have been asking them to replace it. And today they could push it into development, but it does come with a price tag of over $500,000. You might be able to download the Lynx app on your phone again. It was a tool many riders relied on to find their bus schedule with the press of a finger. What did you like about it?
It was just convenient. It was easy to load the money onto the card, to look at the schedules. It was just a lot faster, and it just helped me out. It just helped out a lot better.
And when it went away, they noticed.
Yeah, it's really surprising that they haven't actually put more money into the public transportation in a lot of different ways here in Orlando, because there's so many more people that use this.
Well, the old app, you could actually look at all the schedules, like if you were looking at a paper schedule, and you could actually see all the times for the different stops. And now the new app, you have to click on the stop itself to see the times of the bus coming to that stop.
But Lynx wants to get back in the App Store with something new and improved. Its board of directors is set to vote on entering into a $511,000 contract with Quebec Inc., the makers of the transit app, to create a Lynx bus tracker app.
I think they should invest because it'll help a lot of people out here. You know, people getting back forth to work, going to school, and picking up their kids and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it'll help.
If the Lynx board of directors approves the contract with the app developer, it will be for a total of 5 years. Reporting from Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Time now is 12:16, so let's get you back to your forecast. We'll start you with a live look from our Launch Credit Union camera out there at Port Canaveral. Really shaping up to be just a gorgeous day for us. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is here with what we need to know as we move toward the weekend, and of course, you're continuing to track the tropics.
Right. We have a lot to talk about, including all eyes on the real most potent front of the season, possibly coming through just in time for Halloween weekend. So that's something we'll be watching. But before we get there, though, we're expecting another cooler morning for tomorrow. Temperatures in our southern zones didn't cool off as much because some of that cool air is still working its way in. And that's why it feels so nice and comfortable out there with highs in the low 80s today. But it will be a touch cooler early tomorrow morning. Could get a couple 50s in the mix. Now, as we head into the weekend, temperatures will gradually start to warm up, all ahead of, again, some of the strongest cold fronts we've seen so far this season. By next week, again, could be having to take out the hoodies just in time for Halloween, or maybe just after Halloween. I'll show you that in just a second. But of course, all eyes remain on the tropics. The same front bringing us cooler weather for Halloween is also the reason why Melissa will not be a threat to us here in Central Florida. And that front is what's helping it move through the Caribbean and back out into the Atlantic. Now, temperatures out the door right now. Many of us right now in the mid-70s in our northern zones. We're at 74 in Ocala. Even though our rain chances are low, that News 6 weather app is going to be handy if you can check out and track the temperatures as well as the tropics. We got all of that in one app for you this year. You can see temperatures up and down the I-4 corridor, only holding on to those low 80s. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
So our highs today will be staying in the low 80s, below average. It will be breezy and sunny as well. You can see how strong the wind gusts already. You saw the Port Canaveral camera there, the Launch Credit Union camera shaking up a bit, and you can see the winds gusting upwards about 17 miles per hour. A little stronger for you guys in Volusia County, up to about 22 miles per hour, 13 along our inland areas. Now, the forecast is expecting us to kind of start clocking the winds up a little bit. We got a big ridge of high pressure to the north. We have Melissa developing down to our south, so that's creating that tight pressure gradient, and that's why we are going to continue to see our wind gusts going up to near 30 miles per hour by Saturday, making beach and boating activities this weekend not ideal, unfortunately. But anything else you're planning on doing on land or inland, the weather's going to be fantastic. As you can see here, clouds of rain futurecast really not showing much, just really nice weather. Could be bringing in just a couple of those fast little moving showers along that strong breeze come Saturday and Sunday. So let's talk Tropical Storm Melissa. Latest forecast cone I showed you at the beginning of the show here, but you can see that it could quickly intensify to a major hurricane, packing winds of 130 miles per hour. But again, all models agree that they will eventually making its way over the Caribbean islands and into the Atlantic. Exactly where the center will fall, still a bit uncertain. But some of the rainfall estimates, unfortunately, showing a foot or two of rainfall, not inches. We're talking feet of rainfall in some of these very mountainous areas in the Caribbean. So if you have any family or friends there, this is certainly going to be a very big concern. We're talking catastrophic flooding if some of these models do verify. This is, speaking of models, this is one of the European models. You can see it kind of hops over Jamaica, unfortunately, into Cuba, and then out into the Atlantic eventually, all as that cold front, again, bringing us the really nice weather for Halloween, makes its way into Central Florida. So at this point in time, some models are showing highs in the 70s on the 31st. By trick-or-treating time, many of us will be down into the low 60s, so we might need some sweaters depending on where you're going to be. We'll have, of course, fine-tuning those details as you get a bit closer in, but in the meantime, though, just a fantastic-looking weekend with highs staying near normal.
Candace, thank you. Upper Brevard County Elementary School is expanding its campus, including new classrooms and new programs. Coming up, we'll tell you about the groundbreaking and why officials say it will shape learning for students in the future. And coming up on News 6 at 6.
A local contractor is on probation tonight for taking thousands of dollars from a Volusia County couple, but never even starting their kitchen renovation. Meantime, another couple has come forward saying Jeffrey Diaz also ran off with their money. I'm investigator Lewis Bold, and I've been digging through court records, and I'll have the story.
In Brevard County, it is a big day at Westside Elementary in Palm Bay. Brevard County Public Schools broke ground on the school's expansion. It will add 10 modern classrooms in a new building. The district also says the school will launch a hands-on STEM lab and create a mini middle school experience for sixth graders. Construction is expected to be completed by August 2026, just in time for next school year. All right, as we head to break, a live look over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera on this beautiful afternoon. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
As we take you here throughout the next couple of days, it's just going to be a really nice stretch. We have another little weak front that will arrive on Monday, kind of reissuing another nice little stretch. But it's after Wednesday that we are tracking another more potent front that could actually start cooling us down just in time for Halloween weekend. But of course, all these fronts helping kind of create that buffer between us and anything tropically concerning, which of course, Melissa, is something we'll be watching pretty closely. So if you have any travel plans, cruise itineraries might be changing over the next couple of days, just do be aware. It's going to be a system we'll be tracking for a bit.
Okay, sounds good. Candace, thank you. Yeah. Switch over right now to the News 6 Plus streaming app or clickorlando.com to watch News 6 Extra. Have a great day. Our next newscast is at 4.